Well, it says we're live.
I
It
may have
didn't
hit the
say
wrong
that
button.
before.
I may have hit the wrong button. So
Oh, no.
learning curve.
Yes.
Learning curve. That's all right. We got
Yes.
this.
It's like a roller coaster. Some days you're going up, and some days you're going wee,
Mhm.
and
That's
hoping there's a stop at the bottom.
I don't actually have this live yet. Do you guys?
It says we're live and have been live for 24 seconds.
Yes.
It may be
24
lying to
entire whole
us.
section.
Well, okay, now 29.
All right.
I'm not going to count.
Okay. It was
I'm done working. My hair
YouTube
can come
presence.
down.
YouTube has a what?
YouTube has us as live.
Oh, Rick says we're live.
Yep. We have a little bit of a delay, so
So, okay.
Okay, cool. Well, we will
Excellent.
trust you guys.
we have like a 20-second delay or something. So
Oh. Right.
Okay.
yeah.
It's not
Right.
a bad thing.
Hi.
So, hi, Tiffany.
Yay,
I
we're
think
glad
live-
you're here.
Live is kind of a state of mind at this point.
Mhm.
So because we're all kind of tired, but
Just
I
a
mean
little.
it's fairly normal. Right?
It's been a long week already.
Has
It's
it?
only Wednesday. Goodness.
Yes, it has been a long week already.
Mhm.
I keep thinking it's Friday, but it's not Friday yet.
No, it's not.
No.
Not even close.
I've gotten to explore two places that are supposed to have customer service as part of their things, but have no skills in customer service.
Yeah.
So, and I had the oddest experience of meeting somebody who did not understand a passport is like the gold standard of ID.
That is a very sheltered person.
Yes.
That is the definition of never leaving the village in his entire life.
And that was exactly the problem, as a matter of fact,
Mm-hmm.
because I was at the bank.
Mhm.
He was like, I need to see your ID, and since I don't currently have my Texas driver's license because of see previous comment, I had my passport, which is like the ultimate
Right.
ID, right? It's
Right,
got
right.
everything,
Yeah.
right? So I give him my passport, and he's like, "So do you have something else?" And I'm like,
Well, you should only need the passport.
Passport works for everything.
it was
Right.
very odd that he didn't understand that, and it was like he says, "Well, we need two forms of ID," and I said,
Not
I just
when
sat
it
there
com-
for a minute, and I thought, you know what? And I said, "Have you ever traveled outside the country?" And he's like in his late 20s. And he said,
Uh-huh.
No. I said, "So you've never left the US?" He says, "Nope, barely left Texas." And I said,
That
"Okay."
explains a lot. Mm-hmm.
He just, it wasn't the teller, Rick. It was the bank manager.
Yeah, you can't really go above his head. I mean, not easily.
I mean, he was adorable, and he's very proud of himself. And it's a little small town bank, and
Mhm.
we love them. But I was like, okay.
This makes sense.
Yes.
So this is dumb.
Yes.
But
So there's
that's all right.
Jana's dealing with paperwork story of the day. So
Mm-hmm. Well, their paperwork is always with us.
Yes.
I'm actually thinking of I think it was this morning's Free Fall comic where one of the engineer technician types is making up a little song about doing your paperwork before you start and then after you've done with the job, and Florence is sticking her tongue out at her and she's like, musicians are never appreciated in their lifetime.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it was entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And Courtney is broken.
Yep.
Courtney is broken.
Which is not helpful.
No.
No.
It's been getting worse. So I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow.
Yay.
That's,
That's a good thing.
quick.
Yeah. Well, they called me
You're
in
dropping
for.
things.
Am I dropping things?
You are
I'm
dropping
dropping things. My Starbucks card, my driver's license. I
Yes,
mean, just
Cedar
like-
has a very
nothing
colorful
important.
urn. It's Shauna's urn. It's the urn of topics.
Yes.
It's not full of ashes of people who annoy me.
Not
Quite
yet.
No.
yet.
No.
So and yeah, so
Hey, Julie.
fast appointment, but I was supposed to be they're supposed to put my referral in 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then she called me to follow up on something else. And I'm like, yeah, they haven't called me to schedule my appointment. She's like, what? And
Oh,
apparently it hadn't gotten sent from
Ah.
one office to the other office. I'm like,
That
oh, this is
happens.
great. So they
Yeah.
called me like 20 minutes later
that's
with-
also
from the other
yeah,
office. They're like,
yeah.
so do you have someone you want to see? And I'm like, well, I'd really like my arm to stop hurting. She's like, really, what's going on? I explained it to her. She's like, well, earliest we can get you in is Thursday at 8:45. I'm like, cool.
Good.
Yeah. Now that's
So-
good customer service. We've got
Yeah.
contrasts here.
Good
Yeah.
contrast.
So
And she's like, well, your insurance is saying it's not covered for this. And I'm like, okay, well, let me get you my new insurance card because we got new ones in January. So send it over. She's like, it's exactly the same number. Like, oh yeah. She's like, let's get you scheduled anyway. Like, okay.
Oh my
So-
God, Ben. He says, Shauna, that urn is way too small for you.
True story.
So
True
right.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I'm assuming that Thursday is going to consist of MRIs and scheduling me for at least one surgery. So
Yay.
But getting fixed is good.
yeah,
It's a
It's
good
very
thing
good.
that it's moving
Right.
forward because it's
Mhm.
really not helping.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to be, the arm is going to be essentially useless for about 6 weeks. So that's
Yay.
going to be fun.
So you can't go punch the clown in the garage.
So
Damn it.
Nope.
dictation software.
Well, okay, so I'm learning how I can type left-handed,
Uh-huh.
and I have got my thing, so I can use it like this, and
So
to
her boob is now her mouse
so my
trap.
boob is now my mouse pad. So I can use just the hands, just the fingers, and not the rest of the arm.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then dictation software might be happening, but who has that?
This-
I don't
this
want to
is-
train a dragon.
I actually think there's options out there that are not as complex as Dragon. However,
Mhm.
if you want a copy of Dragon, I believe I have one.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if you want to play with it and you're frustrated with other avenues, I will
I know,
loan you Dragon. Actually, I may have more than one copy of Dragon. One may just be an older copy. So
Okay. I have Otter AI on my phone, and I haven't played with it. I've intended to do it like while I have 10 minutes somewhere and
Mhm.
just.
yeah,
Yes, Polly. She has a clown
Yeah.
in the garage that she goes out and punches every now and then.
Yes, I do. It's wonderful. I love the clown in my garage.
Things you find out about people. That's one of the first things she moved in was the clown in the garage. So
I liked my boxing routine.
Yeah.
10-15 minutes was great.
uh-huh.
yeah. You just can't do it for a
I
while.
can't do it for a while. I haven't been able to do it for a while.
You could explore kickboxing.
I was doing the kickboxing, and
Yeah.
I have at least half of my balance comes from my shoulders.
Oh, not good.
Can
So
you do the treadmill?
I can do the treadmill.
Yes, we
Yes.
have the treadmill.
The treadmill is fine. That's why I'm like, okay, I need the treadmill because freaking I can't go kick the fucking clown.
Yeah, yeah. you need the exercise to kind of burn off.
Well, and
so.
tying on your boots, you can't like tie your boots on because your arm, and
It's,
it's so weird when one arm is out.
Mhm.
You know, I mean,
Mhm.
it's very limiting and it's very frustrating and annoying,
Yeah.
especially when you're used to just doing stuff. You know, so
yeah,
very not fun.
Yeah.
No, it's not. And I mean, there's things in life you kind of have to learn to work around because you just you don't bend that way anymore, kind of thing. And
The indignities of age.
yes,
So,
right.
yes,
Yeah.
no,
So
not fun.
that's going to be fun.
So that's kind of the state of the three moms.
Right.
You're actually in a good mood though, because you're playing in your yard. So
oh yeah, no, I'm doing major garden stuff because even though half my garden died last year, I have hope. I'm doing this again. I'm investing a few $100s into drip irrigation to try and keep them from dying. And if I automate it, which is actually part of the reason it's going to be so expensive, is because I'm going to buy automatic on-off things. That even if I go away for a weekend, they'll run the water for me.
Yay.
So it's worth spending a little bit extra to have the
Mhm.
digital programmable run the irrigation.
Mm-hmm.
And with drip irrigation, I can get very, very targeted on the individual plants or trees, in this case,
Mhm.
that I want to water. So that should keep the water bill down somewhat, but I still expect my water bill to double. So, but I mean, the trade-off of that is that I just planted 2 more peaches, an apple, a pomegranate, and I have a whole bunch of stuff on order coming in, up to and including I have a trailer yard of 5 cubic yards of compost coming tomorrow that I'll be moving this weekend. So by the time you see me again, I may be broken. I'm going to reward myself though for having a good royalty check, which is where a lot of this is being bought out of, and buy myself a new wheelbarrow.
Oh, good plan.
Because my old
Excellent.
wheelbarrow is in sad, sorry
Good
shape.
plan.
So that'll make it easier.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Well, one of the I will say one of the things that might be worth it if it's not outrageously expensive is getting one of the drip irrigation systems that has an app that interacts with your phone.
Mhm.
So when it rains, you can turn it off.
I am thinking about that, and I'm still shopping. I'm still on the
Mhm.
shopping mode,
you're exploring still,
and research and shopping because I have some time before the rain stops.
I would like a drip irrigation system that delivers scotch.
I saw the.
I'm not sure it would be good for scotch.
You just lit up. Corey just
Plastic
lit up.
piping.
I saw the best reel the other day,
Oh my God.
and it's this guy who he loves the little things he buys off
Oh,
Amazon, and it was a drink dispenser that goes in your shower, and he filled it with whiskey. So he can
seriously?
but it's got like a little thing, and he took the glass and went like this, and it comes out, and it's and it sticks to the wall of the shower. And I'm sitting here going,
I love capitalism.
Oh
I'm thinking like, we can't do drip irrigation, but I can make your dreams come true.
Yes.
John says it's the mouthwash dispenser.
it's
Oh, yeah, okay, whatever. Mouthwash.
It's mouthwash.
Okay,
If
fine.
they have alcohol
So
in
it's
them,
technically mouthwash dispenser, but it works for
Don't
whiskey.
drink your mouthwash.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that was the
But
yeah.
this you could like put that. It doesn't have to be in the shower. It could just be
It could
anyway.
just be like anywhere you want to put it.
For years, I had a really big bookcase headboard, and I had my coffee pot in the headboard with the little creamers
Uh-huh.
and a timer. So I would wake up to coffee brewing, and I would just
Mhm.
reach up and grab the cup out of it, and not even have to get out of bed. So
Actually, I've been rearranging my room to where I could actually put up my timed coffee maker in my bedroom.
you absolutely could.
I'm not going to because I
Yeah, I
actually need
know.
to be able to like get out of bed. And
I
do
know we
things.
have to
But-
like, do that part where we get out of bed. I mean, and
This-
why we're on a wander today.
I had a
Like, that's
moment
different.
this morning of disappointment. My morning routine involves rolling out of bed, arguing with the cats all the way to their feeding station, and then feeding them. On the way to their feeding station, I reach over and I press the button on the coffee maker.
Ah.
Because my husband sets it up for me the night before, so all I have
very
to do is
kind.
push the button. It used to be able to be programmed so it went off at the right time, but something happened to the LCD screen. We can't read it well enough to program it anymore. So we just set it up
So
and
it's
press the
mystery.
button.
You could just like you set it up. But
Random coffee.
Random coffee appears. I kind of like the idea of random coffee. So
But this morning I reached out, I pressed the button, and I kept going because the cats.
Mhm.
Toast has a little mew. Kitty Boo, who is all of 7 pounds, has a large meow, and it's got a
we don't know anything
torch
about that.
singer rasp in it. So when she talks to you, you know it.
Yes, we know about talkative cats.
Yes.
Oh my god.
So I go and I feed the cats, and the coffee maker which is in the other room, makes a noise, like a beep beep noise. And I'm like, the heck's wrong with the coffee maker? So I go and look. My husband had not set up the coffee for me because he went to bed unexpectedly early. But I was like, no coffee. I have to set it up myself. I'm so spoiled.
Yeah, it's an unusual size.
Yes.
There was one time I stepped out of the bathroom and Henry let out this. It was like this foghorn. I was like, what?
Oh no.
Everybody heard him. I guess, what's going on with it? I don't know.
You're standing directly outside my door. My god.
What the hell? Did you step on him? No. I was tempted. But yes.
It was like 3:00 in the morning too.
It was too. This is like, ladder levels up. You get up in the middle of the night, right? So, but he just was like, meow. And I'm like, "Wah." I guess he was just mad that I got out of bed. I don't know. But
My utility room, which is where all my seed starting stuff is happening
it
this
smells
season.
so good. It smells very
It
peaty and
does.
earthy in there.
Yes,
it's really
it does.
nice.
It's really
So,
nice. So I'm standing there and I look up, and because the utility room's an add-on, there's a window into the kitchen because there was a window to the outside before that existed. And both cats are sitting in the window with my orchids behind my sink looking at me. through the window, wanting to know why I'm out there and why.
What
I'm
are
in
you
front of
doing?
them. Yeah.
What are you
Like,
doing?
You're not supposed to be on the counter.
You ever walk up and the cat is on the counter and you look at them like, what? And they're like, oh my God, I'm on the counter.
Yes.
Who put me here?
How did I get here? I'm so shocked.
What? This is not the floor. Oh no.
I'm just happy Toast hasn't figured out that she can get on top of the refrigerator,
Mhm.
because we never get her off because it's warm up there.
Yeah. Yes.
When we had the cold stop, Toast figured out that she could get on top of, I have a really tall chest of drawers
Yeah.
on elevated legs. Toast can go all the way up onto the top of that, which is well over my head. And so for a while there, we would walk by and reach up and pet Toast because she would stick her head out as we walked by it.
What? Oh, we have a Rita.
Someone's coming in the door.
Yes, Rita's off of her university duties and coming to finish working on Maggie's stories.
Yay.
So yes, and of course is wearing a
It is
fabulous
a
dress.
Rita.
So
Yes.
she's got this silver
So-
purse that I just really love. It's been your purse du jour.
I know. It almost broke my neck the other day. It's
Oh,
got
no.
this long strap, and I was carrying it over an arm like this.
Mm-hmm.
But I was walking out of a store. Actually, I was walking out of the oncology center, and my heel caught on the strap hanging down. And I just went flying.
Oh my gosh. You okay?
Oh yeah, I was fine. I got really lucky. I didn't face plant, and it like spilled the guts of my purse, and, like went everywhere. But that's okay.
The live stream
nothing
says hi,
broken.
by the way.
High live stream. Is that the jar? Do you have to hold the jar to have the floor? Is that what y'all are doing?
No,
No,
it's the ashes
we were
of
gonna-
everybody who annoys me.
We were going to.
And Ben said it's way too small.
I was gonna say it's not very large. Oh,
I think we've done that one.
I've done that one.
oh, you've got topics.
We
We
have
have
topics
topics.
there
That's
'cause
clever.
we're talking about cats. We really should move on to something else. So
Well, you know what? Cats are endlessly fascinating.
That
Yeah.
looks like ashes. Powdery stuff. There's powder in there.
so did you notice that people are missing? So
I mean, this is kind of is Jonna in the mood?
what? Oh God, no. Not today.
All right, we're not in the mood for that topic.
No.
It goes back.
If we do a fashion rant, it will be all about bras and my annoyance with said items. So
Okay, well, this one's an interesting one,
Oh, what's that?
and I think that we can probably do this one justice.
okay.
So the topic is ambition, competition, and femininity. Because, and here's where I'm going to go with this initially, and you two can then branch off with it there.
Okay.
Ambition and competition and femininity are an interesting mixture because there tends to be a perception that women can be, putting that somewhere it doesn't buzz so loudly, that women can be ambitious and hard-nosed and frankly a bitch,
Mhm.
or they can be feminine, soft, and a feminine, soft woman is perceived as not being in competition or ambitious. I actually will argue, because this is how I actually try to be, that a woman can be feminine and ladylike and still compete and be ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a naked, power-hungry ambition, which isn't a good look on man or woman. And I think that that's what gets conflated with, well, if she's going to be like ambitious, then she's going to be like that.
Mhm.
And I think that that's the stereotype. But I really do think that you can be feminine and be both ambitious and competitive in your field.
I would not disagree.
Yeah,
I think it'll look different though.
absolutely. Because, it's going to look different on every woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, so femininity comes with a connotation of being warm and yielding and nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that that's necessarily what femininity actually is.
Oh, it's so much more complex than that.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
Somebody
I don't
really
know.
wants your
I don't know
attention.
who's. I'm in a group chat, and they're
They're
going
very
off.
chatty.
They're
So,
going off on me right now. So we're gonna make that silent, so it stops.
Oh, hi, we have a Casey.
yay, Casey!
Hey, Casey.
Hi, Casey.
Casey's actually an excellent example of both feminine and ambitious,
Mm-hmm.
and she makes it work and look gracious and
Yes.
effortless.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Julie's comment that it's the difference between being a leader and bossy.
Yeah, I mean it's.
And bossy is one of those words that tends to be connotative to feminine.
Oh yeah, or
You don't see somebody calling that man, he's bossy. No.
yeah. Well, it harkens back to when I was teaching at the school where I was the oldest woman there. I was the oldest
Mhm.
woman there, and dealing with a lot of young male teachers in their late 20s, early 30s. And we were having this discussion of difference of styles because every Friday we had to have collaborative meetings, and I would get annoyed because I didn't find them useful. But so one of these guys who was like a giant Great Dane puppy with huge feet, who always was stepping all over, particularly the women when they were trying to talk.
Not so cute.
Well,
Mhm.
and he just wasn't. He was just enthusiastic about what he was doing, but it was annoying, and I was the only one who would knock him back on it.
Mhm.
And then in our discussion, he was like, "So, Jonna, how is it for you when you being a woman who displays nothing but masculine traits when you're in meetings?" And I went, "Interesting that you would define my strength as masculine." As
Mhm.
opposed to just being a woman who's not willing to put up with your shit. So, and he was like, "Oh, wait, I just did that, didn't I?" And I went, "Yeah, you did." Because he's just a puppy, you know?
Yeah.
But the definition of a woman who pushes back is
Mhm.
somehow not feminine
Who creates
Mhm.
a boundary and defends it.
and stands firm on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And that tends to be because a lot of people
You can either comment, well, men don't get called bossy, they get called asshole
Yeah.
instead.
You're not wrong.
Which is
Yeah.
which is
Mhm.
absolutely
well,
correct.
the thing is men get called asshole, but women get called bossy for showing leadership for showing leadership ability.
Mhm.
It's one of the things like I have, and I've run into this a lot of, well, why are you telling us what to do? Why do we have to follow what you say? And I'm like, well, I'm the person that knows how this works.
Yeah.
So you can go off and do your own thing if you want to, or you can listen and follow directions.
Yeah. Casey's got an excellent point. She says it took her years to figure out how to be feminine and still effective as an officer and a leader.
Yeah, that would be a fun discussion,
And
Casey.
the key was uncompromising competence.
Yep.
Mhm.
And that is beautiful. Uncompromising competence is
Mhm.
It's a
just
wonderful phrase.
wonderful. Yeah, no.
Yeah, because
She has a way with words.
those writers, you know. But you're completely right. Is that it's there's a point at which you sometimes have to set them back on their heels to get them to pay attention to the fact that you are competent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not very good at being polite about that. So
Well, I've walked into situations where I was the person with the most experience, and I was 20 years old at the time.
yeah.
And half the people I was training were in their 40s or 60s.
Yeah.
And the only person who had a problem with me being the one in charge was the person who was my boss. Because
interesting.
she didn't want to give me the position in the first place because she says, oh, they're not going to respect you. You know, she didn't respect me.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
true.
because I had actually 6 months more experience than she did at 20.
Yeah.
Which was hard for her to swallow because she was in a position where she needed to be the person in charge, but didn't feel that she was competent, and so decided to take it out on me. The people who were learning from me were all very willing to learn and get better at their jobs.
So it's an insecurity issue.
And that's a lot of times I think what it is.
Yeah.
As someone who's insecure in their position or insecure in their knowledge of a subject, will push back on the people who are competent and
Right.
who are creating boundaries, as opposed to, well, I don't know how to do this, so I'm going to make you do it, and I'm going to make everybody think that you're being bossy by telling me what to do.
Well, and I think that comes into the competition part of that too, is being feminine and competitive. Too often being competitive is that insecurity. And so they're competing without understanding the rules of the game.
Mhm.
And because what Jordan Peterson talks about needing to know the rules,
Yes.
because if you change the rules, nobody wants to play with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not.
And if you change the rules so you win all the time, they definitely don't want to play with you.
no, well, it's not interesting anymore.
Right.
You know?
So that's not a competitive game.
It's not playful competitiveness, because one of the things I really love is like also in the community of women authors is is that it's the challenging your friends as authors
Mhm.
to do more, to write more. It's like you two with your challenge you're doing on
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
There's accountability and there's fun and there's
Mhm.
because you're
And there
both
are
focused
tentacles.
on there's tentacles, but you're also focused on mutual growth at the same
Mhm, yeah.
time. And I think too often people forget, and sometimes younger women who are still figuring this out
Mhm.
forget that competition based around mutual growth is much better than competition based around who can win.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, it's a different mindset
Well,
of
Steel sharpens steel.
Yeah.
So what we're
Yeah.
doing is we're working off of each other.
yeah.
I mean, I'm learning how to write romance, and instead of resenting me coming into your space because you're the romance expert,
Mhm.
you are encouraging me and nudging me to do it better and to get better and to come into this space. And I'm realizing that I really, really love writing this.
Mhm.
I'm having a blast with it. So
Well, it's less of a because we're being competitive with our former selves,
yes.
and
Yeah.
in a competitive marketplace.
Mhm.
And the thing is, having you come into the romance marketplace doesn't take away any of my sales.
No,
It actually it expands the market,
right.
and
So we're introducing one another to our fan bases.
right,
Right.
and
Plus we write radically different stuff.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. But you're bringing your fans into a market where they might find other things that they like. I'm introducing my fans to, hey, here's a new writer. You might
Mhm.
want to,
Yeah.
you might want to try this, and it's giving me a chance to play with where I've been and where I'm going,
Yeah.
and to rebuild some stuff that I've let fall behind. So we're being competitive with ourselves, but and I think this is actually very feminine traits. One of the things I actually really like about being a female in a competitive environment is we can work collaboratively, so that okay, if there is someone who wins, then okay, you won this time, I might win next time,
Mhm.
but it's not an all or nothing thing.
Yeah.
Right? There's no first prize on this.
No.
There's we're not even comparing sales. Like you're sharing sales data to help other people get better,
right.
to help to
Mhm.
show them what the marketplace is,
Right.
and
Yeah.
to show them how the business works.
Because I had a near complete tabula rasa with Lilania Begley
Mhm.
since the last thing I published there was 7-8 years ago,
Mhm.
and it hadn't even had sales in months, if not years. So being able to build that up from scratch and show those numbers to new authors would be like, okay, this is what you can expect. This is what you need to do to get here to
Yeah.
create this kind of momentum.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's, for me, I'm kind of competing against myself, but it's also I'm being very ambitious with this. This is an ambitious project to do a short story in full every Tuesday, except for the first Tuesday of the month.
Okay.
Yeah. And to do that for a full year.
Mhm.
And on top of everything else.
And it's an ambition that you're not having to step on anybody else to get there.
No.
This is an
no.
ambition to do something and to build something.
Let's build the tide.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and like Wally's saying, this is what rising tide means. Like
Absolutely.
this
Yeah.
is we
You
rise by lifting others. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I am very ambitious in my personal career, my personal
Yes.
goals. I've set a lot of it aside to help build something I think is actually amazing and
Mhm.
worthwhile.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that my ambition is gone. It means like, okay, this is something that's worthwhile, but I'm coming back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you are.
And
You poured a lot of effort into
It's
it,
nice
but
that
now
you-
it's time to come back and pour the effort into.
It's nice that you had that space to go to while your muse was dealing with other things.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know, and but wow, it's time.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's totally time.
Yeah.
And which is
And
fascinating.
I can see you with Taco Tuesday reading what you've been doing just this first 3-4 weeks that we've been doing it.
Mhm.
I can see you coming back
Yeah.
online.
You're getting more sparkly.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the brain has been kind of banked,
It's
and
it's been
but
healing.
The
It's
fire
been
is
healing over
starting
stuff,
to.
yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, they're like I will be perfectly honest, like there was a lot of grief and depression in there.
Oh, yeah.
That I had to work through and live through to get to where I could do this again, because
Mhm.
it was like looking at it and trying to pull out, I'm writing love stories
Yeah.
and trying to pull out from the place that it still hurts.
Yeah.
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 So
Well, okay. I did a little metaphor, and I want to dig into it a little bit more, which is the banked fire.
mhm.
And
Hmm.
overnight, you bank the fire. You don't
Mhm.
quench it. You don't put it out. You cover it, and it smolders hidden. And then when it's morning and you could supervise it again after you've had the rest, after you've had the sleep,
Mhm.
you pull back the covering and you add fresh fuel. You
Mhm.
give it the oxygen that it needs, and the fire starts up again because
Mhm.
it was just lying dormant for a while to rest.
Mhm.
And I think that, because I know for me, it was 2 moves in 2 years.
It was a lot.
It was a lot, and dealing with a whole bunch of transitions with my children growing up and leaving home, and my husband having health issues. It has been a lot, but my fire was banked, and then I started to pull back
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
and to really dig into it again and find ways to breathe to inspiration, which is, I mean, because the
Mhm.
root of inspiration is breath, is breathe.
Mhm.
So you're breathing on the coals and bringing the flames back.
Yeah,
And
and
that's where you're at.
and starting with like the little short stories of, okay, I'm revisiting characters.
Yeah.
I'm remembering the people that I love and why I
Yeah.
love these
Yeah.
things.
Mhm.
Old friends.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned that in this week's, because I didn't do a full story for Taco Tuesday this week because
Mhm.
first Tuesday of the month.
Yeah.
I did kind of a rundown on what's going on, where things are going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then shared a sneak peek of the next book.
Yeah.
I haven't abandoned this entirely. It's coming back, I promise.
Mhm.
But trying to get back into that space of
And the
where I could be
the intentionally putting yourself in proximity with what you want to do.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that really resonates with me, that phrase, because I go stand in front of the fabric and I just kind of run my hands over the fabric and play with it. And it's like, you guys
Yes.
are doing that.
Yes.
You're rubbing your hands all over your fabric.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to figure that out. So
Yeah, we just need to get you
I'll get
closer
there.
to the fabric again for a
I
while.
need to get out of that part of the shop and
I
into
know.
that part of the
I
shop.
know.
So
At least it's not a long commute.
well, no, it's going to be even shorter once we flip the shop. It's going to be like right here. It's like,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it was fun having Hillbilly's daughter here
Yeah.
because she was like fabric face. She was
Oh.
like face into the fabric shop,
Yeah.
which was incredibly cute. She was adorable because she's normally very like, you
Yeah.
know, I'm the cool kid. Just talk to me, and she was like fabric. Ooh, you know, I'm like,
Yeah, and I got her to light up and talk to me a little bit. We were
Yeah,
talking
it was
about
fun.
about stuff. And,
yeah, it was like you guys
So.
are kind of doing the same thing. You
Mhm.
guys are doing the my nose is back in here. Oh, this is I remember this. You know,
Yeah.
it's been fun to watch the two of you do that.
Yeah.
So.
It feels good.
I've missed playing with these characters and in this
Yeah.
world, and
Casey says I sounds dirty when I say it like that. Sean.
it does a little bit.
It's like, well,
She
you
can
know.
make anything sound dirty.
Oh, honey. So
So can she.
Yeah.
Why
That's
do you
why I
think
hang
guys,
out with them.
why the guys blush so much around us? It's kind of fun.
We haven't
Yeah.
broken them recently.
It's been a little while. We've
It's
been
been a
busy.
while.
It's been every now and then I'll say something and Jim's like, It's like you forgot. So
A little space so they
Yeah.
forget and we can
Yeah.
ambush them.
have to
we
remind
have to
them
like
every now
build
and
up
then.
the blush response again, because they get too used to us. They don't blush as much. So it's much more fun to turn them both red at the same time. So
It's true.
yes,
Very
yeah,
true.
it's yes, it's more fun that way.
Mhm.
But it is interesting to me to of seeing people's ambition reignite,
Mhm.
and go, oh yeah, I was going that way, um, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
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 Well, so for close to 4 years now, I've been doing the more odds than ends weekly prompts.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Now, the weekly prompts, I deliberately set them up so they weren't writing prompts. So
Mhm.
you could do writing or art or even nonfiction, whatever you wanted, just whatever the prompt brought out from you. And I also deliberately set it up so there was no word counts, there's no rules. The only goal is to do something
Mm-hmm.
in the week. And if you can't make it in the week and you post it later on, that's cool too.
Mhm.
But what I wanted was I wanted to ignite that self competition
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
in the small group of writers that was originally targeted at, and then we took it out onto a blog and it's open to the public. But we have a small core group of people that do this constantly.
Sometimes people need permission, and you're giving them permission every week. So,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a little bit of accountability,
Mhm.
and they can say to themselves, I'm having a really bad week, but all I've got to do is sit down and write 40, 50 words, and then suddenly that's 400 to 500,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sometimes it's 4,000, and they're like, that's too long to post all of it.
oh darn! You wrote so many words. How awful!
And in my
So-
case, I've given myself permission to, because I left it so open, to make it available to anyone.
Mhm.
But it also gives me the ability, if I have a week where I can't even, I can now take it and I can make art with it, feed it into Midjourney. And the one that I did for last week's prompt was basically forest cities. And I came up with some really beautiful concept art out of that. But the whole thing with the prompts is that they do that little bit of ignition of a little ambition. I'm of wanting to do something productive in a coming week, something small and measurable and accessible.
Mhm.
And that's a good way to build goals.
Mhm. Let's one of the things I look at because Neil in the comments that I've always been ambitious. It's I've always been looking for. I have ultimate goals, and it's always okay. So what's the next step?
Yep.
Where have I gotten? Okay, I got to this point. What's next?
Mhm.
I'm not, and it's sometimes it's a what's next for me. Sometimes it's what's possible.
Yeah.
And one of the things I love about 20 books and now the new Author Nation
Mhm.
is I can go, okay, because I'll look around in some places and I'm like, wow, how am I, okay, I've outgrown this spot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What's my next?
What's the next thing?
What's the next spot? I feel like a hermit crab changing out of a shell.
Yep, bigger shell.
And figuring out what the next shell is.
Have you seen some of the fabulous things that hermit crabs have
Yes!
used?
Oh my God, I love that.
I love those. But it's always so much fun to it's like, okay, I've grown and now this doesn't fit me anymore.
Yes.
So you
So
can
what's
try
next?
on some fabulous
Mhm.
accessories.
Yeah. And and octopuses with their hats that if you 3D print them, they'll put them on. So funny. I may have been playing with octopi recently.
Yes.
So, but stuff like that. It's always so. I have, and my ambition isn't. I've told people I want to rule the world.
There's a lot of paperwork involved.
I
in that.
know. It's the thing is I want to rule my world.
Yes, you want
Mhm.
your world.
I want to be in charge of my space and be able to make my space how I want it. And
Yeah.
there's and when that goal is, oh, you know what, I can put a picture on my wall
Uh-huh.
like that. there are times when like that was the smallest thing. That was the smallest movement I could possibly make to control my space, my space more. I can control who's in my space, who I let in and who I let out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah, as Casey's saying, her life got a quantum leap forward.
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to see where you go, Casey.
yes,
I'm just like, oh my goodness.
And
it's gonna be rocket fuel. So
it's awesome to see, to look back now over the last few years, the last 20 years, and to see the friends that I've made along the way, and where they are now, and how their lives have changed, and where they've grown into. We were talking about Jacob and HP Holo. And I was saying, I remember their first LibertyCon, and they were so cute and shy and sweet. And now they're rock stars. And it's fabulous. I love seeing that. I'm so happy about it. And so it's really awesome to watch people grow. And I find that gets me all excited too. So.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to the boys, our little baby authors, about, they're like, oh my God, you know everybody. And I was like, no, I've just been around a long time.
Yeah.
And because the best part is like in 10 years, we're going to look at the girl and go, oh, they're so cute. We knew them when.
Yeah.
So, but it's the growth process. You're right. And it is so much fun to watch your friends. It's like, oh, there they go. There they go. So,
yeah. Casey says there's an important there. Yeah, sorry, mangling my words. There's an important point there about being able to take advantage of those quantum leap opportunities.
You have to say yes to yourself.
Yeah.
You really do.
You have to grow into that person.
And you have to decide you
that's
deserve
ready.
it. You have to decide you deserve it. So
I didn't realize you could do that. That's awesome.
I know, isn't that cool?
She has the power.
I have the power.
Casey, we got StreamYard Pro. We're having the best time ever.
Oh
yeah. So,
but and this is the thing too, which is we get new tools and they help us go up and up a little bit incrementally. We started, and now we learned and got better.
Well, I was thinking about the whole bootstrapping thing.
Yeah.
Because I bootstrapped my career, my writing career, where it was a choice that I had to make. If I was going to spend $3 on that stock art so I could make the picture for a story.
Yeah.
And I knew I had to sell 10 copies to make that money back.
Yeah.
And that was a real, that was half of my grocery budget. That was a huge, leap forward to do that. And then I remember when I first moved to from trying to do everything in I wasn't even doing it in Word, I was doing it in LibreOffice.
Wow.
Formatting my books in LibreOffice. I went and bought Judo. Judo was I got it on half off because I won NaNoWriMo that year.
Oh yeah.
So I spent $20 on it.
Yeah.
And it took me a solid week to put my credit card number in so I could go and buy the formatting software that would make everything else easier.
Yeah.
Because that $20 was like, I'm making enough to actually justify doing this now.
Yes.
But I couldn't talk myself into doing it. When I got Atticus, it was I was like, oh, this is a no-brainer. Get paid on the 29th, buy it on the 30th. I'm done.
Yeah.
That was $100 and whatever program.
Right. Somehow.
And it was, and so.
Well, and I had decided I was going to get Vellum. Atticus, I don't think existed at this point. In order for me to get Vellum, I had to buy a computer and Vellum because I didn't have a Mac. And I needed to have a Mac and Vellum, but it all came out of the business account. Where, when I started, I was so broke I couldn't even afford stock art. I was using free stuff or creating the covers myself out of fractal generations and whatnot.
Yeah, well, so my first covers were all from free stock, and I had to learn a program, and I had to learn to do well enough.
God bless Gimp.
God bless GIMP. Holy crap! I had to start with everything from free, and I had to learn how to use it. And I had to learn how to use it well enough
Yeah.
that I looked at least semi-professional.
Yes.
And now I can go Cedar.
I'm
Which after me is
laughing.
really cute. So
I'm laughing because we had a moment in Discord recently where someone was griping about how everyone says that you can bootstrap your way into indie, but whenever he asks a question, none of the bootstrappers are willing to talk to him. And I'm like, I'm right here, and so is Courtney.
Yep,
yeah.
I can do this. I will walk you through how I did it.
Yep.
How to make $10 extra a month on $0.
Yes.
You know, and
You absolutely
but
can.
that was my goal.
Mhm.
You know, it was incremental. Like, I can't tell you how to make $1 million off $0 because
Yeah.
you can't do it. I can tell you how to make $10 off of $0.
Yeah.
And then I can tell you how to make $20 off of $0. But
Mhm.
at some point, if you're going to get to the level where you're making $1 million in a year, which
You will.
goals getting there, you know, it's you have to streamline and get better tools and better processes.
And you have to be open to learning and letting go of the
Mhm.
stuff that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
part of-
use GIMP anymore.
And not working from a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
Because when you're at that stage, it's really hard. It's really hard when you've financially been hanging on by your toenails and dragging yourself along
Mhm.
to let go and step into the
Yeah.
better thing.
Yeah.
So
A month ago, I bought a digital editing tool. It was on sale and it was $150
Mhm.
because it makes composites look better with a click of a button.
yeah.
That justifies it.
Mhm.
It's Topaz AI. If anyone's doing serious graphic design, don't bother with it otherwise.
Mhm.
But I was like, oh, cool. It's on sale. It'll do what I want it to do. Plus, it'll improve my photography stuff. Dropping it, no problem.
Mhm.
Didn't even blink. Moved on.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is that your tool usage is constantly going to evolve.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
you're going to get. And it doesn't always mean that you have to buy the biggest, best, most expensive thing. That actually could be a trap too.
Yeah, sometimes that slows you down.
Mhm.
So I mean, but it's the constantly being willing to reevaluate, reassess,
Yes.
see what you need to do to move
Mhm.
forward. I mean, we're doing that with the press right now. We're doing this giant leap forward in
Yes.
technology because we absolutely have
scary.
to.
Mhm.
Which
Yeah.
of course is killing all of us while we're doing it. But
Learning curve.
oh my god, huge learning curve. But it's something we have to do if we want to take the next step. There's
Yeah.
just no way
Yeah.
around it,
Yeah.
you know? And so we're going through it,
Yep.
you know? So
So I completely ditched Adobe Photoshop, and I don't recommend that anyone use Adobe products. Adobe products are that trap that will lock you into a very expensive monthly thing, and you don't need them. You can buy the Affinity Photo Suite for less than 3 months of Creative Cloud, and you own it forever. So soapbox away, onward. Sorry, that was a comment that I had to address.
You had to address.
because-
Yep. Nope. Totally makes
So
sense.
there was a soap opera move. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, don't get me ongoing about computerized
Right. And
issues.
if
So,
you own an old edition of Creative Suite,
yeah,
keep it running as long as you can, fine. But the Affinity,
Mhm.
those people, they're not lagging behind. I mean, playing around with it today, I realized that I was doing gold effect font on a title for Rack Press cover.
Mhm.
And
that
I
was
suddenly
so
had
cool.
a moment because I have a whole manual process. And I had a moment and realized that Affinity has a thing in it that is one click and it applies.
Don't you hate that? Don't you hate that? You're like, ah. So
I'm like, yes, no. I've wasted so many hours.
But now you know, and now you know what it's supposed to look like.
right, yeah.
So
So things we learn. Well, and also it's just suddenly your life is so much simpler.
Right.
yeah.
I mean, it's
I'm like, now everything's going to be gold because I can.
I can sparkle.
Yeah.
So,
Like,
sparkles.
so my what we're using my little new computer, which is
Which is like
Adorable.
the size
Adorable.
of it's like about slightly larger than a Rubik's cube. You know.
I love my computer.
I would totally get one if I thought I could run all the art stuff on it, but I'm pretty sure I can't.
Yeah.
It's you would need a little bit more in it,
Yeah.
but it does
I'm
perfect
actually-
for what I do.
I'm actually thinking of upgrading my serger. I mean, my favorite serger is like 25 years old,
Mm-hmm.
which I just broke apart on.
Yeah.
Which is not surprising because I've done that before. But I'm like,
It's time to evaluate. Is it worth repairing
well, the
this?
point is though. I mean, I had an industrial serger when
Mhm.
before I moved down, which was like the Ferrari of sergers, and be careful, don't cut your finger off.
Yeah.
But do I really need that? No, but I could have one of those fancy ones where you push a button and it threads itself.
Oh, that would be spiffy.
Oh,
I
that would
know.
be really cool.
Right? So, but I'm like, I could take in the 4 sergers I have.
Mhm.
And
You
get-
could,
and get
and
one.
yeah.
So,
So okay,
Yeah.
people are asking what the computer is.
oh, okay.
It is a Geek Ohm, and I will show you.
It is so tiny.
Yeah,
It
she
is
can
so
really,
tiny.
pick it
Neil
up and
said
show
it's
it to you.
the size of a sandwich, and he's not wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I moved the camera, moving
She
it.
moved the camera.
So, but yes, it's this, and it is rose gold, like everything else I own.
It is so pretty.
It is so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty, and it's pink, and I do all of my professional stuff is in pink.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
branding
tiny.
is a thing.
yeah,
It's absolutely tiny.
it's tiny. I love
So,
it.
It is. It is so cute.
Mhm.
I
Which
have
means we can take it with us anywhere. when we
well,
have to go
and
do
that's what
something.
exactly what I was going to say, which is
Mhm.
I was looking at it and thinking that for travel that would be fantastic.
Mhm. So there's no moving parts on it. I have everything in there is SSD and
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
These days, that's the way to go.
yeah.
So
So it's an amazing.
yeah,
It's beautiful.
Well, it is what's been really fun for me is watching you suddenly not have to struggle.
Yeah.
Because before you were trying to transfer between 2 very underpowered
Mhm.
laptops,
right.
and it would take you hours and hours and hours to do something. Now it's like zip done.
Yeah. Well, because
Yeah.
they worked
Mhm.
when what I needed them to work for when I bought them.
Yes,
Mhm.
but they don't anymore.
But now they don't. Well, because I had to. We would record on one, and then I would have to move it to the other computer, and so. But it was so slow that moving it from the laptop to the hard drive took an hour.
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then moved to another computer, which
Yeah.
took 16 hours to
Yeah,
get
Yeah.
everything.
meanwhile
And
you
then,
can use it for other things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that whole. Wow, we wandered off in a weird direction
Well,
like
yeah.
we normally do.
I was just going to say the concern troll about my AI art on my blog the other day, which was amusing more than irritating, I think. But I had replied to that, which was I don't have time to do custom images for every single blog post I write.
No.
I mean, I don't blog daily anymore, but I blog 3 or 4
lot.
times a week. And I'm not going to sit down and spend a few hours creating a piece of art for every blog post. I don't have time. I don't have time anymore to waste time.
Mm-mm.
So the things that I can find that save me time and that keep me on track, those are the things that's where I'm putting my energy, my money into right now. It's stuff that saves me time because I need the time back desperately.
Yeah.
It used to be when I first started out and I was bootstrapping that I did everything myself and I poured time into it.
Yeah.
But now I've gotten to a point where I don't know how much time I have left with my husband, and I would like to spend more time with him
Mm-hmm.
while still trying to work 2 jobs and be a master naturalist.
Mhm.
You got
So,
nothing going on.
No, not a bit.
so anything that saves me time is where it's at for me. And right, the whole postcards project absolutely would not have
Mhm.
worked without the AI art. There's no
No
way we could
way.
have done that. I
No way.
generated for that project roughly 2,000 images.
And some of them in 20 minutes.
Oh
we
my
need to have
God.
some more.
Well,
So-
I mean, the first time we had no
I
idea,
didn't know.
and I'm sitting there, I'm generating images as requests come in, which was like madness, and we sorted that process
We
out
had some-
quickly.
I was looking at the last year and the steep learning curves that
Oh my
we've had,
gosh!
which have been fascinating because we've had to bounce off each other and lean on each other's skills and abilities and go,
Mhm.
what? I don't know how to do this. Can you,
Yeah.
I can do that. You know,
Mhm.
Yeah,
it's been
Well, the-
really interesting.
The panic calls of Cedar. I have an hour ready to cover help.
Help, we need something now. So,
or
yeah.
I'm like I'm going through some of the old postcard pictures because I have nothing to write for Taco Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go
that
find
works.
something. It's
Well,
like, yeah.
and that's great use for some of the unassigned
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
images,
Yeah.
because I generated way more images than we sent out. I think we estimated we sent out about 1,200 overall
Easily.
over the whole project.
Easily, yeah.
Mhm.
Probably a little
and
bit
then
more than that.
probably a little bit more than that. We had about 800 submissions.
We had
over
a
the entire
little over
project.
800 because I counted. So
Yeah, so that leaves me with over 1,000 images that never went anywhere, and we can mine those for
Yeah.
story prompts.
Yeah.
why
I mean,
not?
it's we've encouraged other people to do the Taco Tuesday with us. Like, if you want
Yeah.
a picture,
If you want a picture, just ping me or
Mhm.
Court, because we've
Mhm.
both got access to
Yeah.
them. So leave Jonna be; she's busy. We're not, but
I'm shifting into a very interesting space, which
Mhm.
is kind of it's weird how science fiction keeps pulling me back. I have these circles where
Mhm.
it keeps,
Mhm.
where I go, where I'm hanging out with a bunch of authors, and then suddenly I'm doing a project, and suddenly I'm working for a publishing company, and then I'm hanging out with authors, and I'm suddenly doing a project. So, which it's weird. That cycle has happened a couple times in my life.
Mhm.
And I did not anticipate. I think I was talking to Wally about this. That I did not anticipate becoming a production manager for a small press.
Casey,
Again.
Jonna has an assistant. He's a retared sergeant major.
Oh yeah, he's all mine.
And we love him to pieces.
Remember the guy you sent the naked story to? Mike is now. I'm like, mine. He's like, can I help? Yes.
I was giggling over his official email address.
Yes.
Which-
Yes. His official, yeah. There's two of them.
There's two of them. Yes.
He has both options. I told him that today. But it's not so much that it's the there's a lot of details that I have to put in place and keep track of and do all of that stuff because I'm
Mhm.
setting the framework for all you guys to run off and do your thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. So I can get out of the way. You guys can just go be massively creative and do
Well,
amazing things.
And the idea is to automate processes. But
Yeah,
that means
which
we
is
have to
what we're
set
doing.
the processes up
Yeah,
first.
processes have to be made first.
So you're in the worst
And
part
I'm
of it.
really good at that. I mean,
Mhm.
that's my skill
Yeah.
because I spent my entire life putting together processes for putting together shows with actors. Not a lot of difference. I keep saying that over and over again, but it's true. It really is true. You have to set the frame for the people to be able to
Mhm.
act on top of it. So yeah, and of course Casey, he was a master sergeant. He's doing a fabulous job, and it's really fun because he's like, just give me orders so I can just go do because I don't want to be in charge. I'm like, I totally get that.
Mhm. And he's been super helpful for me. Where I'm like, fix this.
Just go do that, which has been wonderful.
And I
love Trisha's. No one expects that becoming a production manager for a small press,
like
kind of
this-
like the Spanish Inquisition, but harder.
Yeah. Personally, I'd
That is
rather do the
awesome.
Inquisition. So I would rather do that. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I love
actually,
that.
it's not Notion. We're looking at Trello, which actually visually works better for some of the team.
Mhm.
But we also have to set it all up. So and that's like
Yeah.
I have this list of stuff I'm working through that we have to get this done, and then we do that, and then this builds on that, and then we do that.
Mhm.
So, and I'm working, as Mike says, I'm a champion of tactical patience. So,
yes, that is an awesome term.
Fantastic term.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Uncompromising competence and tactical
tactical
patience.
Yep.
Those are two phrases for tonight.
yes, because I'm always the person saying no, slow down, and he phrased it really well. It's like you don't jump out of the damn plane until everything's put together.
Mhm.
And
Bad things happen if you
and
do
I
that.
annoy the crap out of my entire team when I'm like, no, not yet, because they're like, let's go. It's like, no, get this part done first. And I was sitting with Ian today when we were going over some paperwork. He's
To
like,
answer Ben's question
Yeah.
about how much postcards jump-started my mid-journey skills, let me put it this way. I have now generated over 15,000 images on Midjourney. So to some extent, yes, but actually more it's been that I find it fun and I play with it like a game.
yeah, she's having way too much fun.
So yeah. So actually
Yeah.
the prompts that are being run by Miriam M. In my Discord are
yeah.
a huge help for me because they're introducing me to artists I didn't necessarily know.
Oh yeah.
And forcing me
She
to
needs to come visit
refine
again.
prompts.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, she needs to come visit us again.
So
So
yes, also weaponized patience. Well, that is a thing
Uh-huh.
too. So
yeah. No.
Ray, you came in too late. You missed the sewing machine conversation.
Yeah, so but it's fascinating to how all of our things are interlocking.
Mhm.
And it was really fun talking to Ian earlier today because we were walking through some of the processes that we're putting together and getting everything cohesive and stuff. And he's like, wow, I mean, okay, I understand why this has, because I was drawing the big picture of how it all interlocks
Mhm.
for him, because I don't get to talk much about that. I'm just kind of doing it, I'm going, okay, now this next.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because we have to get a lot done in a very short space of time. But he finally got the whole thing and went, oh, I'm like, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay. So, which was great.
Yeah. It was
Plus
like,
his go to a lawyer to do your LLC.
mhm.
Yes.
So important. So
Yeah. It was like once in a while I get the opportunity to explain to somebody, and I did this weekend, the design process behind creating book covers,
Mhm.
because there's a whole lot going on
so
there.
much involved.
Mhm.
And I actually had two different conversations. One was about color theory in logos, and the other one was about book covers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I realized as I was talking about this that I mean, I've been doing graphic design for more than 20 years at this point. Actually, almost exactly 24 years at this point. And I have learned a whole lot more than I realized I had.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. So suddenly I'm brain dumping at someone and I'm like, wait, okay, yeah, I finally got that.
Yeah. It's interesting
So,
how all of our different design skills dovetail with each other.
Yeah.
Because we come at it from a bunch of different directions. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the interesting things, because having done it for
Yeah.
20 years, I sat in on I was pregnant and sitting in on a graphic design class because we only had one car, so I was using their and I didn't have a computer at home, so I was using their computer, and there were only 10 people in the class, so I got to sit in the back. So I learned like a lot by osmosis,
Yeah.
which was really fun. But other conversations we've had where like someone's like, well, I don't understand why this is a problem, and I'm like, oh, let me explain to you how contracts worked 25 years ago
Yeah.
Mhm.
in this industry, and like what the big lawsuit was that the people who sued
Yeah.
lost,
Yeah.
and why.
Yeah.
It's like you can I can explain to you why this is horrible, but I can't. I was reading the articles at the time.
Yeah.
I spent one of the things I actually really like about my English degree is it wasn't just talking about books and and plays and poetry and all that. It was the history of the people who were writing them.
Yes.
It was putting them in context.
Yes.
It was putting them. It was this came out like this at this time because this was the major publishing at the time.
Mhm.
Because people are like, this is really boring. There's a lot of words. Like, well, yeah, they got paid by the word.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If you get paid by the line, you're gonna have a lot of short sentences that all take their own line. So you
Mhm.
get a whole bunch of dialogue.
Was Sarah paid by the word at some point? Because wow, she types that way. I mean, Sarah White, when she chooses this thing and it's like, oh my god, write a paragraph and hit return one.
She hits enter instead of period, which is
She's used to typewriter, so
yeah, she's used to typewriters. I think that's what it
They're
is.
trained on typewriters. It's a whole different skill
it's
set.
a completely different approach
Yeah.
to typing. Which
I have finally broken that.
I know it's weird, isn't it? Yeah, it's our book cover analysis that we did, which is a really
Yes.
fun one.
Yes.
Which got very silly. Very
We
quickly.
will be doing
should do that
another of
again.
those
We should
in
do
the
that
next
again.
few weeks.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So we just have to acquire some fresh books.
Oh darn! Oh, we have to go do our.
We have to go talk to Amy.
Well, we
Yeah.
also
We have to go to that our thing
The
through
book
the
club.
There's a
Yeah.
whole book sale place that we have not explored.
yes.
So, Yeah.
I personally am going to be filthy all weekend long. So
Mhm.
because I'm going to be moving 5 cubic yards of dirt. And after that, I'm going to be like, ow.
Yes.
I will come and bring you lemonade in a bottle because I can't make it with the other arm.
Appreciate that. Actually, you might come and drag me off and be like, okay, book shopping now.
Yeah, we're going to go do something else now.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to break it up into little bits. But
Mhm.
so,
think so.
speaking of next week, what are
Yes.
we looking at for next week? Friday. Friday is Giant Freaking Robots.
Yes,
Yes.
Giant Freaking Robot comes out Friday.
Yes. So
We are so excited about this one.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my god.
So I made a joke cover to tease someone who may or may not be listening in on this live stream.
Yes.
She's right there.
And
there.
it took on a life of its own. It was supposed to just be a private chat here and make everybody giggle thing. So if giant squeeing robots actually becomes a thing, it's my fault. I'm sorry. But in the moment, giant freaking robots is actually real, actually a thing coming very soon.
Yes, it
So.
should be out this Friday.
And Goblin Market is open. I'm
so excited.
I know.
I mean, I have been working on the cover for that. That's been like, because I was so looking forward to this.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
I have to poke my son because he wanted to write a story for it.
Oh yes, oh yes,
Right?
Oh my gosh, yes. I really want to see that. So, yeah. So Goblin Markets is open, and I think we probably have other ones open. That one's the one I'm super excited about right now. So the next Moggy's book is in the reading process.
Yes,
so
she's back there reading on it right now.
Coming soon.
Rita's back
So
there.
yeah,
working.
we are absolutely having a blast
Mm-hmm.
and learning and growing, and we have made that quantum leap into this strange new world.
Yep, and we're teaching people what we know, and I'm shocked that I know enough to teach somebody things.
Well,
that's still
so that's I think it's the military that does see one, do one, teach one as a method of learning, because when you synthesize everything that you've seen and done into teaching and having someone actually understand and be able to replicate it, that really cements it for you, because you have to break it down.
Yeah,
you do.
So
and creating I'm having to write down what I do to show it to other people. It's like, oh, and I like, right, I've been skipping this step.
Yeah,
I should not skip that step. Because some of it's you need to write this down. I'll do it in my head, and then it's in my head. But if I don't write it down, I can't pass it on.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
funny.
I hate to bring us to an end, but I told my husband that I would be home in time for dinner. So
Yes.
Oh, but yeah, that.
And we've done this twice now, and it's my abject apologies for our not sponsor. We have not put our not sponsor.
Oh yes, our not sponsor.
well, we're doing him at the end, so everybody can catch up.
But I don't know where his table tent is because my desk is a disaster of raconteur press paperwork.
You know what? If he asks really nicely, I'll make a card that we can put up in
We
our
need to make a
in our
card.
video.
Yeah, we
Honestly,
need to
because he
make
did
a
ask me
card.
really nicely, but my face has been face down in other ridiculous amounts of paperwork.
Yeah.
So Jim has a t-shirt store, of which I am sitting here desperately trying to remember the name of, because I am
And there will
so
be
tired.
a link underneath the video later so that you
If you
can
guys
click.
would please go visit that, because he's got some really funny ones.
Yes.
His t-shirts are absolutely hilarious.
Pithy
And,
sayings.
yeah, well, and weird, sad, sorry puns, which is kind of a compliment if you think about it.
If you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the precipitate. Honestly, I really ought to buy that t-shirt.
Did he really do that one?
Yes, in multiple different formats.
Wow. Wow.
There are math jokes.
There are math jokes.
Oh, speaking of math jokes, I just sold something.
Ah. And on that, note,
Oh, my, yes. So please,
feminine, ambitious, competitive, and mercenary.
mercenary. I've been called mercenary in a number of ways, but please come back and visit and look up for Jim's store and for his t-shirts, because he has a dog to feed.
Yes,
Who's very sweet,
cute
and we like
dog.
Obi a lot. He's fabulous. So we will put our link in the bottom of this. So if you come back and visit and do commentary, that would be great.
Absolutely.
Also, we would like a couple more topics.
Yes, we want topics.
so-
Please give us topics in the comments, not in the chat. It's easier for us if you put them in the comments. And also share the video with someone that might enjoy listening to us
in interesting ways.
ramble about femininity and also growing and becoming better businesswomen.
And we keep doing everything wrong. So
But we do it wrong, but we do it with the right attitude,
Yes, we do.
which
So.
covers a multitude of
It's
sins.
so wrong, but so right.
It is. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye now.
I think probably recorded next week, maybe.
Probably.
If who
We'll see.
knows?
We'll see. Bye, guys.